Hello, I'm a left-winger who doesn't like other left-wingers. I don't like all the shame, 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 shame. I don't think it helps. I don't think it wins anyone over. Imagine a apolitical dude who doesn't know much about politics and all he hears on the left is shame, shame. While what he's hearing from the right wing is, mate, are you a white man? They're our two favourite things. Come right this way, sir. For example, have you heard of this term microaggression?
Watch out for those macroaggressions.
Microaggression? For example, if you're a person with brown skin, someone saying, where are you from? No, where are you really from? Where are you really from? Is a microaggression. Yes, it's annoying, okay? But that's what you call it. You call it annoying. You don't need to make a new word to make it sound scientific, okay? When I was growing up, people used to say stuff to me like, what are you looking at, cunt? And I thought that was an actual aggression. I didn't realize it was a microaggression. I didn't need any scientific lingo to prop it up. I used to be dismissive of this concept of microaggressions, but then I realized that the real problem is actually nanoaggression. See, it's very hard to detect. It's very hard to detect. The real problem is quantum aggression. See, right now, because of quantum entanglement, I'm actually being offensive in other dimensions. Right now, there's people rallying against my intergalactic bigotry in other dimensions. And the reason I know this is, see, what the scientists did is that they put a racist particle and a sexist particle in the Large Hadron Collider. They spin it around at half the speed of light until they collide, and then you can actually see what a quantum aggression looks like. You know, why do they have to call them black holes? Why can't they call them people of color holes? Dwarf stars? I'm pretty sure they prefer to be called little people stars. Another example of how the left has embraced postmodernism is this tendency to talk about triggering, and I'm being triggered right now. Ooh, the triggers, triggered me timbers. Because again, your interpretation on the left is more important than someone else's intentions. So your emotional well-being is now someone else's responsibility, and you can shame them by going, you're triggering me, how insensitive are you? I think that whole discourse is politically useless. And what I mean is, you'll notice that this whole shaming people for triggering you or not having a trigger warning can only work on a peer-to-peer level. You can only use it to make people on your level and in your grasp feel shit. You can't actually challenge power with that. For example, if the debt collector calls me up and says, Shane, you owe us $3,000. I can't go, excuse me. I find that quite triggering. You're not respecting my identity as the poor person, okay? I'm going to call up the Poverty Poor Cunt Coalition. Goodbye, sir. You will be blogged about. People have a hard enough life as it is, okay? They're already ashamed of themselves. They don't need extra shame. It's not a good motivator. Hitler didn't rise to power on a platform of national shame. We are the inferior race! You know the movie Braveheart? And that scene where William Wallace is trying to rally up the Scottish troops?
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have had the same effect if he said, you can take our lives, but you can never take away our shame. I think white male privilege exists, but the problem is a lot of leftists have taken this awareness and reduced all white men just to that. Across the board, dismiss all white men. Any opinions they have are invalid because they're part of some oppressor class, and that automatically all white men have an easier life and are more privileged than anyone who's not a white man.
I'm paying my loans. I don't have.
Yeah, he's paying his loans.
Yeah, that's nice for you.
We have these things called scholarships. We have.
You're white ass! You're fucking white ass! Privilege! You're fucking privileged because you speak over. They can speak over a non-binary trans femme person. They can speak over a non-binary trans femme person, and they can see nothing wrong with it. Because we're tired of being spoken over by fucking white men like that.
All white people are racist. All men are misogynistic. All cisgender people are transphobic. All members of a majority are biased against the members of the minority.
I think this is a gross simplification because our privileges as human beings go beyond being white and male. For example, I noticed when I was counter-protesting against Reclaim Australia that a lot of people on the far right were missing teeth. Leftists love to say things like, check your privilege. Yeah, good idea, check your privilege. You've got tooth privilege. Okay, do you know how big tooth privilege is in this society? Usually when you smile at people, it reassures them. If you're missing teeth, it freaks them the fuck out. For the rest of your life, your Facebook profile pictures be you going, okay, you're never smiling with your mouth open again in a photo. Think about tooth privilege in terms of the economic sphere. You go for a job interview, your resume has the same qualifications as someone who has teeth, and then the job goes to the person with teeth. Another blatant example of tooth privilege in this society. How about you tooth-filled people? Shame. Go chew on your privilege. Shame! Because the toothless people can't. Is that just because someone is a white male doesn't mean they're automatically more privileged than someone who's a black woman. Yes, they have white male privileges, but there's all other factors in life. You don't know anything about someone you haven't met. Some guy who's a white man could have grown up in an abusive household, got the shit beat out of them by their parents, and then become a drug addict in their teenage years, get out of that through rehab, work hard in a full-time job for 20 years where they have to sit in traffic an hour each way to work in the sun so they can support 3 women in their lives, their wife and their 2 daughters, and then all of a sudden some 20-year-old who's like read a Tumblr feed or a BuzzFeed article goes, oh, here's a white man, his life is magically easier than everyone's. It's a generalization. And at the heart of racism are generalizations. It's irrational and it's silly, and the left needs to get out of this shit. But if only there was some really easy way to measure privilege, if only that existed, if only there was some easy number people had assigned to them that you could look at conveniently to be able to tell how privileged they are. I don't know, like a bank statement. Recently, Emma Watson, who's famous for her role in Harry Potter movies, spoke out against sexism and encouraged men to speak up against sexism. And I think that's a good idea. But she's also a millionaire, and I looked at my bank statement and I have $32 in there. So I just thought it's a little bit rich coming from her. A little bit rich.
It will take 75 years, or for me to be nearly 100, before women can expect to be paid the same as men.
She got cast in Harry Potter because she was good looking. That's a privilege. I'm not an expert on the Harry Potter franchise, but I'm pretty sure there's no movie called Harry Potter and the ugly female lead actress. I think the left has made itself very ineffective by embracing this postmodernist and this my interpretation of things are more important than anyone else's intentions attitude. There's a tendency on the far left to resent random white people with dreadlocks. I've even heard stories about anti-fascists spitting at random white people with dreadlocks because it's quote unquote cultural appropriation and racist. I've never heard of a neo-Nazi or a police officer with dreadlocks, and they're black people's natural predators. Speaking about cultural appropriation, when you scapegoat one individual person for some metaphysical crime and symbolic impurity like having a dreadlocks, and you're going to attack them as if they're the example and battle lines for racism in society, what you actually do is you misappropriate from my culture, the white Christian culture. It wasn't called the Dark Ages for no reason. Thanks for watching. I would like to encourage all left-wing people to look at some of the links in the description for this video. I think the left needs to develop some more rigorous arguments and not instantly jump on the bandwagon of any internet trend or Tumblr analysis of the world. Also, me and some friends are running a fake campaign to demand Pauline Hanson's birth certificate. I think that this is a way of engaging people outside the boring and dry and demoralizing normal patterns of the left to do rallies that are really boring. I think this could engage people and make the left fun again. Also, if you're interested in where these ideas on the left have come from, they're the product of online echo chambers. I made another video about that. Links for that will be in the description. If you'd like to see more content like this, please hit like and share. Thank you for watching.